Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ACMi Sports Professional Soccer Draft. I am your host, Nick Antonakis, and a huge thank you to all of the general managers who showed up today to participate in the draft. We have Chandler, Xander, and Nishad. What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going pretty well, Nick. How are you doing?
Doing well, Nick. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
I'm doing pretty well. Obviously, this is exciting. This is the second installment in the ACMi Sports Professional Drafts. Yesterday, we recorded baseball, and we're excited to record professional soccer today. So, basically, the order of the draft, we have Chandler with the first overall pick, Xander with the second, and Nishad with the third. And each general manager will have 60 seconds to make a pick. And if by some chance they don't pick a player in those 60 seconds, the next person in line has the opportunity to jump them and pick a player over them. So it's obviously important to keep an eye on the clock when it comes to that. This is a snake draft. So, for example, Chandler will have the first pick, Xander the second, Nishad the third, but then Nishad will also have the fourth, for anybody who doesn't know what a snake draft is. And anybody is eligible to pick any player from any league necessary, Champions League, whatever. It's all out there. Okay, so if you guys are all ready, I'm ready to go. We'll kick it to Chandler. We'll put him on the clock with the first overall pick. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, and the pick is already in. So, Chandler, take it away.
All right. So with the first pick in the ACMi Professional Soccer Draft, I will be selecting Lionel Messi from FC Barcelona and Argentina. It was really between two players, Nick. It was really between two, and I have a feeling that Xander is going to take the other player. But when you're given the number one pick, you really can't look at anybody other than someone who is widely considered to be the greatest of all time. 6 Ballon d'Ors. You can't argue against it. You really can't argue against it. As much as I don't think he should have won the Ballon d'Or this past year, you can't argue against him being the best of all time and the first pick in the draft.
He is definitely one of the best soccer players anyone has ever seen play, and Xander already has his pick in. So, Xander, take it away.
With the second overall pick, I'll be selecting from Juventus, Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it was pretty obvious to most people that when Chandler selected Messi, Ronaldo was going to be the next player off the board. So those two are always neck and neck in terms of being the best players out there. Ronaldo right now, proving it himself in his third new league, showing that he's one of the top strikers and wingers out there. And in my opinion, he is just as good, if not better, than Messi throughout his career.
And picks are flying off the shelves. Nishad has his pick in. Nishad, take it away. Who'd you select?
With the third pick in this ACMi Professional Soccer Draft, I took Kylian Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain and the French national team. Although Kylian Mbappe does not have any Ballon d'Or awards or really reputable awards, he's still only 21 years old and is one of the most promising strikers in the world. Having won a World Cup with France and numerous League One titles, he is up next in the world of football and could even maybe surpass some of the greats of all time.
Definitely an all-star player in the national outlook of soccer. He has 18 goals and 5 assists so far in the 2019-2020 campaign, obviously proving himself to be possibly the next Messi or the next Ronaldo. So we're just going to have to see where that goes. And Chandler has 25 seconds left on the clock to make his next selection.
I believe it's Nishad's pick.
Nishad's pick.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm stupid. Okay, so Nishad, you're good. Go with your next pick.
I already sent in my pick, and with the fourth pick in this draft, I've selected Virgil van Dijk from Liverpool Football Club. Virgil van Dijk was a finalist and the runner-up in the Ballon d'Or awards last year. Although I'm against that selection, I believe he should have won the award. Van Dijk is a incredible center half, and very few players were able to beat him last year. He led Liverpool to, I think, a 3-loss season last year and an almost invincible season this year, unfortunately cut short by Watford, a relegation zone team. And so Van Dijk, great player, and I think he will help my back line a lot. So that's my pick.
Obviously investing in the defense there early on with the first overall pick in the second round. 30 seconds remain on the clock for Xander's pick, and it's in. So, Xander, let me know. Who do you got?
All right. Well, my second pick, I'll be taking from Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne. In my opinion, he's the best passer, best facilitator in the game right now, and that's really important to have, especially with a top striker like Ronaldo. You need to have someone out there who can get him the ball from anywhere, and De Bruyne is that player. He can get the striker that pass from anywhere on the field. Great player, and again, his passing is really an asset and makes him a must-have on any team.
Obviously an outstanding passer, as you said. Chandler, your pick is in. Let me know.
Yes. I'm going to be honest. I was very surprised that Virgil van Dijk didn't go at number 2. So getting him at 4 was a good pick for Nishad. I am going to be going with N'Golo Kante from Chelsea and France to be my number 6. Yes, Nishad, I will be. I'll talk about both of my picks after I make the next one, but I gotta figure out who that's gonna be.
So Chandler has the next pick as well, too, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm after Chandler.
Yes.
Okay.
And the pick is in.
I will be going to my team. I'll be going to Liverpool, and I'll be selecting goalkeeper Alisson Becker. And let me talk about both of those picks as we move on to Xander. Let me talk about both of those. N'Golo Kante, he runs, and he does a little bit more running. I will be specifically playing the style of Liverpool play, and I think that he is a perfect player to fit into that system. He's going to run, he's going to tackle, he wins every ball. He is incredible. One of the most underappreciated players in world football, in my opinion. And then going to Alisson Becker, he is, while there's one and maybe 2 other really great goalies in the world, I think that he is head and shoulders and gloves above everybody else in the world. He won the best FIFA goalkeeper. He's the only player to have ever won the Yashin Trophy. He's a Champions League winner, a Premier League winner elect, the Brazil #1 in the past 2 seasons in the Premier League. He has had 58 appearances and 31 clean sheets. Those are outstanding numbers, and having him between the sticks is going to win me a lot of games.
Definitely one of the best goalies in all of soccer. I believe, Xander, I believe you have the next pick, right?
Is it Xander or me?
I think, yeah, isn't it
I
Xander?
believe it's Xander.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, the pick is in with 2 seconds to go. You're good.
All right. With my third pick, I will be selecting, also from Liverpool FC, Sadio Mane. So he's been consistently one of the best forwards and wingers in the Premier League, and on the same team with Mohamed Salah after he had that record-breaking season. Mane has been the better player the past 2 seasons after that, which shows how outstanding he is to be the best forward on a team with Mo Salah. And I think adding him with Cristiano Ronaldo and Kevin De Bruyne is going to make for a deadly attacking 3.
Definitely a great pick from Xander, as we have about 30 seconds left on the draft clock. And the pick is in. Let us know who you picked, Nishad.
So with my next pick, I've selected Frankie de Jong from FC Barcelona. Frankie is an outstanding central midfielder, and after Xander's Kevin De Bruyne, I think Xander was going to pick Kevin De Bruyne. I believe Frankie is one of the best passers in the world. His control in the midfield is second to none. He was one of the center points of Ajax's Champions League run last year, which unfortunately ended in the semifinals. But Frankie is a young player, has great amounts of potential, and is already considered among one of the best central midfielders in the world.
Definitely, Nishad, you're definitely right when you say that. You also have the next pick in the draft, so I'll let you get to that as I fill some time. Make sure everybody subscribe to ACMi Sports on YouTube if you haven't already. Make sure to go follow us on our Instagram page at ACMi Sports, where we'll be posting polls about all of these teams, and you can select which team you think is the best team coming out of the draft. And Nishad, your pick is in. Let us know who you picked.
So with my next pick in the draft, I've selected Trent Alexander-Arnold, or TA for short. In my opinion, the best right back in the Premier League and the world. He's a phenomenal player, still very young. His defensive ability and his ability to transition from defense into offense is outstanding. He has racked up the second most assists in the Premier League this season, behind none other than Kevin De Bruyne. And his crosses in from the wing are lethal. He's a force to be reckoned with in the wing, and I believe his partnership with my center half, Virgil van Dijk, will be outstanding, considering they both play for Liverpool.
Definitely, it's important to have the ability as a defender to step up on the ball and become an offensive threat. So obviously a great pick from you as we move to Xander's pick with about 20 seconds left on the draft clock now. See if he can get somebody in. And the pick is in. Xander, who do you have?
All right, with my fourth pick, I'll be selecting from Napoli center back Kalidou Koulibaly. I believe after Virgil van Dijk, he's probably the best center back in the world at the moment. He's been part of the reason why Napoli's had one of the best defenses consistently in the Serie A the past couple of years. Really strong physical presence, great at winning the ball, great in the air, and can even go up on corners, score some goals. So just a great player to lead the defense.
Definitely. And Chandler, we move to Chandler now, who has both of his picks in.
Yes, I do. I have to say, Nishad took my pick. I was going to pick Trent Alexander. I feel like I have it's one in the world, and I'm picking Joshua Kimmich from Bayern Munich and Germany. I think that he is incredible. He's versatile, just like Trent Alexander-Arnold. The big difference between them, in my eyes, is Kimmich is a better defender, whereas Trent is a much better attack. And with the GOAT ahead of him, with Lionel Messi ahead of him, I feel like I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of attacking for very solid defense.
Chandler,
And
that's an interesting
somebody
pick.
to get Messi the ball.
That's an interesting pick considering Bayern plays Joshua Kimmich at central defensive midfielder.
That's very true.
Chandler, you're cutting out, my guy.
Yeah, Xander.
Or defensive mid. While Pep Guardiola was there, he called Joshua Kimmich one of the most talented players he had ever played or he had ever managed, and that was while he was playing right back. So I feel like that is a very
Chandler, man, you're cutting out.
apt. And next pick, I want somebody who can distribute the ball, as Luka Modric from Real Madrid and Croatia. Could you get that? Ballon d'Or winner, the best award winner in 2018, World Cup finalist, one of, if not past Kevin De Bruyne, the best distributor of the ball in the world. He has experience in the team. He will be my stationary distributor, someone that I really needed there, and he fits the need, and I got him there.
All right, so Xander now has his pick in. Xander, let us know who you picked.
All right, so I was expecting him to go in this past round, so I wasn't really planning on taking him. I was planning on filling this position much later in the draft, but I saw center back from Manchester City, Aymeric Laporte, still left on the board, and I thought that he was too good of a player to pass up on. With him and Koulibaly, that's probably like the two of the three best center backs in the entire world. It's an elite defense. great in the air, great on the ball, and you got a lefty and a righty in the defense, which is going to be good for distribution of the ball and offense.
So do I have the next 2 picks or just one?
Yes, you have the next 2 picks, Nishad.
Okay.
And you have 45 seconds left on your first pick.
So with my first pick, Nick, I think you should have just received it. I'm going to stick with the Liverpool trend. I believe their back line is outstanding, if not the best in the world. And I'm going to take their other fullback, Andrew Robertson. Robertson has been at the top of his game for the past few years, leading Liverpool to 2 Champions League finals. He fits a role similar to that of Trent on the right back, but I feel like Robertson is a more defensive-oriented player. Similar to what Chandler was saying about N'Golo Kante, Robertson runs, and then runs some more. He's an engine on the field. He is a player who'll never let you down, and I think he'd be a great player to have out there, and an asset, that's for sure.
Definitely. And Nishad, you have your next pick in too.
My next pick is also in. I believe that he is the third best or the second best center half in the world, but Xander believes otherwise. I'm going to go with Rafael Varane. He is the center half from Real Madrid. He, in fact, is, along with Sergio Ramos, leading Real to the best defensive record in La Liga this season. He is an extremely fast center half, a player who will consistently make tackles for you and can distribute the ball well. I believe that him and Van Dijk will play well together, and his partnership with Andrew Robertson on the wing could also work. I'm glad that I managed to get my back line in, and yeah.
Definitely another great pick there. On the aggressive side of things, like you said, he's a huge tackler in the field, so obviously something to look out for. You want to have that physicality presence on the field, somebody who's willing to put their body on the line to make a play. So obviously a smart pick there. As Xander has 25 seconds left on his draft clock time. So we'll be awaiting his pick, and it's – oh, no. Oh, yes, it is. It's in. Xander, let me know who you picked.
All right, this is another guy who I don't know how he fell this far. I think he could have been taken in the first round easily. And this is from PSG and Brazil, Neymar. One of the most skilled players in the game right now. He has a talent on par with some of the best players you've ever seen. When paired with Messi, Suarez, he was great, showing that he works really well with other good players. Has played really well for PSG. They have had some disappointing losses in the Champions League to cut some of their runs short. But overall, he dominates in the league and is one of the best players. Gets a lot of hate for flopping, but that doesn't change the fact that he's still one of the best out there.
Definitely. Neymar has 229 career goals, so obviously has been putting up a work in his career and obviously a great offensive threat. As we move to Chandler, who has both of his picks in, let us know, Chandler. Who do you got?
I was really hoping Neymar was going to fall to me, but I have my 2 picks. I will be assuring my front line here, giving Messi all of his options here. I have at center forward, at striker, I have Robert Lewandowski from Bayern Munich.
I hate you.
I mean, I said at the beginning that I'm going with the Klopp system. Lewandowski has already thrived under Klopp while they were both at Borussia Dortmund. And to get my other pick, I have somebody who personally has ripped out my heart as a Liverpool supporter in 2015 when he elected to leave, Raheem Sterling from Manchester City and England. He has developed so much arguably is the outside player on Manchester City, a team that has, when I was making my list, central players that I would draft. So I think that having him, Lewandowski, and Messi makes my front line the best in this sim.
Definitely adding some support there up front. What were you going to say, Nishad?
Am I up next?
No, Xander is.
Xander's up next.
Okay.
And the pick is in. Xander, who do you have?
All right, so with this next pick, I'll be taking from Bayern Munich in the Austrian national team, David Alaba. He's one of the best left backs in the game. He can slide into center mid, great defensively, but also good on the ball, good passer. Can take free kicks. He's a good lefty to take free kicks, which is important for my team to have. So I don't have one of those yet. He's a really versatile player. Since he can slide into those two different positions, defensive position and midfield position, it makes him a lot more valuable. And that's one of the reasons I chose him this early.
Definitely a great defensive player all around. And also, like you said, the ability to be able to take those free kicks from afar, as well as being a lefty, is a huge asset to have on your team. As it is Nishad's picks now with 18 seconds left.
On the first one?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, my pick is in. I spelled it wrong, but I selected Timo Werner from RB Leipzig. Although Timo is newer to the world of football and the top players in the world, he's put up, I believe, a staggering 23 goals this season, a ridiculous number in the Bundesliga, only second to Chandler's Robert Lewandowski. His pace off the ball is unbelievable, taking through balls from players like Sabitzer and Upamecano. Timo Werner is excellent. He plays for Germany as well, and I think that nothing but good things are to come for Werner in the future. With my next pick, I'm going to go. With my next pick, I went with one of the Brazilian star central defensive midfielders, Casemiro from Real Madrid. Casemiro is a fantastic player. I was debating between Casemiro and Fernandinho when selecting this position, but I went with Casemiro because of his offensive ability. Casemiro not only has the ability to make impressive tackles and distribute the ball, but he has one hell of a shot and can rip it from anywhere on the field. And you never know when Casemiro is on the field. He can be a threat from any point, and you always have to keep an eye out for him. So I think he'll really top off that defensive aspect of my team, and yeah.
Definitely another great pick. So, obviously a huge threat in the center mid position throughout of soccer. Obviously a great pick to add there to your squad. As we move on to Xander's pick, whenever Xander's ready, he has 24 seconds left on the clock. And let's just remember, if Xander happens to run out of time, the next pick in line, in this case, Chandler will have the opportunity to jump him. But in this case, Xander has not run out of time. The pick is in.
Can I just
Xander, who do you got?
Can you remind me what your last two picks were? Because I think I missed one of them.
Timo Werner and Casemiro.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, so with my next pick, I'll be taking a center midfielder from Real Madrid and the German national team, Toni Kroos. So he's one of the most all-around midfielders in the game. Really, he can attack, defend, good playmaker. He was the star and best player on the German national team that won the World Cup. He's been one of the best players on the Real Madrid team that won so many Champions Leagues in a row. So he's a winner. He won one with Bayern as well. Just like a great piece to have in that center midfield role. He's a bit slow, but not going to be asking him to do too much running. Just like be a good connecting piece between the offense and the defense, and that's what he's best at.
Definitely a great all-around player. Now we move to Chandler, who has both of his picks in. Chandler, let me know. Who'd you pick?
Yes. I thank you, Nishad, for taking Casemiro instead of Fernandinho, because that's who I will be taking to give me real ball-winning midfielders in the middle with Conte and Fernandinho together. Fernandinho can also switch back to center back in case I need to move him there, but I don't think that I will, with my next pick being Matthijs de Ligt from Juventus and the Netherlands. He was on the best FIFA football team. He's a really young, promising center back who has already shown glimpses of greatness and can hopefully continue that.
So, Nick, do I have one pick, or does it go back to Xander? Is it me? I have no idea.
Yeah, now it goes back to Xander, and then once again, you'll have your 2 back-to-back picks.
I get it.
It's
So now Xander's on the clock. Chandler, let me know how many players do you have right now? Like, I know we're doing a full team roster, but how many players do you guys have so far, just so I can keep track?
I have 9. Everybody else will have 8.
Okay. All right, so the pick is in for Xander. Xander, who'd you pick?
Yeah, all right. So, again, this is another player who I didn't really have on my list because I didn't expect him to fall this far. So I wasn't going to fill this position right now, but I'm going to take from, pains me to say it, but I'm going to take from Manchester United and the French national team center midfielder Paul Pogba. No, he struggled at times with some of the systems put in place at Man U when they've been really trying to make him into a player that he's not. But with him and Cruz in the midfield, it's going to be a great pairing. Pogba's a lot more physical, likes to dribble a bit more. Cruz passes it around and can stay back a bit more. Both of them are great offensively and can both stay back on defense. So he's a great pairing in the midfield, and it's always important to have 2 really good center mids because they are really important for distribution around the field.
Definitely a great all-around player. As we now move to Nishad, who has his pick in. Nishad, who'd you select?
So with my next pick, I've selected Bernardo Silva as a center attacking midfielder from Manchester City. Bernardo Silva had an outstanding season last year in Manchester City's domestic treble, and he was voted FWA's Player of the Year. He does it for Portugal and Manchester City, and I'm just going to send my next pick in so I don't run out of time. And he is really outstanding. His ability to pass the ball, shoot. He can also fill in as a right winger role, but I'd prefer to have him at the center attacking mid position because of his unique abilities there. But yeah, definitely Bernardo Silva is an excellent player, and I think that he'll work well with Frankie and Casemiro, where Casemiro will provide the strength, Frankie will provide the passing, and Bernardo will provide the shooting. With my next pick, I have gone with the English national and one of the most promising teams in the world, Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Sancho is an outstanding right winger. Although he may not be assumed as one of the best, he can do it on both sides of the ball, on both sides of the attacking force. He has the most assists and some of the most goals in the Bundesliga, I believe. He has 13 assists and 12 goals, which are outstanding statistics. His partnership with Erling Haaland at Borussia Dortmund is excellent, but I think he is one of the top right wingers in the world, and he is definitely up next.
Definitely another great pick there by Nishad. As now we move to Xander, who has his pick in. Xander, who'd you select?
All right, so I wasn't planning on taking him quite this early, but Nishad's been getting me nervous. I'm jumping ahead, selecting a super sub right now ahead of a goalie and a right back, and that will be who Nishad mentioned, a striker for Borussia Dortmund, the machine, Erling Haaland. He came from the Austrian Bundesliga, so I have to support him. One of the best young players in the league. Literally, he looks like he came from Rocky IV. Just like a machine, just is going off in every league. And he'll come in as a striker in the 77th minute, just score like 3 goals real quick. And then it's a great super sub to have on any team. And one of the most promising young players I've seen.
Definitely. According to this, he has 50 guys goals so far, so obviously a great striker to have on your team, as well as a great all-around player. So now we move to Chandler, who has both of his picks in. Chandler, who you got?
Nishad reminded me of Erling Haaland. I was going to take him. But he also reminded me of another player that really should take, that will be Serge Gnabry from Bayern Munich and from Germany. He has gone through a very interesting career arc, somewhat flopping at Arsenal, then being unleashed on the Bundesliga. Right now, he has played 23 games this season with 11 goals and 9 assists. He's been an absolute revelation. He is incredible. Just looking at his market value right now, I know that doesn't say everything, but it has skyrocketed this season. He's been incredible. And somebody who I really didn't expect to fall this far, but I have a larger plan at the end, so you're just gonna have to stay with me here. I'm gonna pick the greatest. This is gonna be very controversial. Sergio Aguero from Manchester City and Argentina.
Chandler, what did you say? The greatest what?
Did you really just say the greatest center forward of all time?
Score
The greatest Premier League goal scorer of all time?
in the Premier League era.
I agree.
I'd agree.
Yes, I'm saying it.
Aguero!
Sergio Aguero.
I
Yeah.
dyed my hair.
That is the first memory of soccer I have.
Chandler, I dyed my hair silver because of Sergio Aguero. I made a huge
Oh my
life
God, I think I
choice
remember
because
that.
of this man. Right, wait. Oh, is it my pick? Yeah.
Yes, because of one
Yes,
man.
you are on the clock with 40 seconds to go. Oh, you already have it, so you're good.
Yeah. All right. So, with this next pick, I'll be taking who I believe is the best goalkeeper in the world. I think he was passed up on, and that is Jan Oblak.
Oh.
So he's like consistently led Atletico Madrid to so many clean sheets in La Liga, just extraordinarily impressive considering that they go up against players like Messi and Ronaldo, and he's just consistently been, in my opinion, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And with Neuer, he's been injured and he's struggled a bit, and De Gea has struggled a bit. Oblak's been the most consistent, so that's why I think he's the best right now.
Definitely a shutout goaltender, and obviously, like you said, he's a very consistent player, which is somebody that you want to have, especially in between the pipes. And Nishad, your pick is in. Who do you got?
So with my next pick, I've taken another La Liga goalie and German international, Marc-Andre ter Stegen from Barcelona Football Club. Although some may say that ter Stegen is not the player that people presume him to be, he makes some of the most ridiculous saves on the planet. He might not be the most clutch player, but he is solid between the sticks, and I believe that having players like Varane and Virgil van Dijk will make up for whatever ter Stegen lacks, which is very little. With my next pick, I have taken a underperforming player this year, but I believe that that's due to injury circumstances, and I'm going with Eden Hazard. I'm a huge Chelsea fan. He was a former Chelsea player, and now he's at Real Madrid. He has suffered a lot of injuries this year, and I cannot lie, this has not been the best season for him, but I think that good things are certainly to come for him. He is extremely versatile. He can finish, he can cross, he can dribble like no one else, and he is extremely fast. I think Hazard will do very well with Jadon Sancho and Kylian Mbappe in my front three, and that will create a devastating attack. So definitely very happy with that selection.
Although he may have had somewhat of a disappointing season this year, he has 122 goals on the career and 86 assists, so you can't really argue with that. Although this may have been a down year for him, obviously, like you said, a comeback is in the session for him. So, Xander, you have your pick in. Who do you got?
All right, so to fill out my last starting position, I'm going to take from Manchester City, right back, not who you think maybe. I'm taking João Cancelo. He kind of jumped onto the scene last year with Juventus, had a great year as their right back, and now he brought on to Man City and has been getting some time at right back and is filling the shoes of Kyle Walker, who's been one of the best right backs in the league in the world, and Cancelo's been just as good, if not better, this past season. So he's a younger right back too, showing that he's going to be the right back of the future. So I think he's a great piece to fill out the last spot in my back line.
Obviously, a great defensive player is now we move to Chandler, who has both of his picks in. Chandler, let me know. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'll one team for these two picks, and I'm going to finish out my starting 11. This will be the team that, much to my chagrin, beat Liverpool in the 2018 Champions League Madrid. I will be filling out my center back and left back positions with Sergio Ramos and Marcelo. Sergio Ramos was on the best FIFA football team of the year, and as was Marcelo. They are two of the best defenders of their generation. They're true Galacticos. As much as I do not like Sergio Ramos as a person, or very much so his antics on the field, I think that he is very effective, and he will be a great player for my team. Along with Marcelo, I was going between, I can just say it because I doubt anybody's going to pick another left back. I was going between Jordi Alba and Marcelo, and then because they're in the same league, I could compare their statistics very closely, and I saw that Marcelo was just head and shoulders above him offensively, and that's what I needed right now.
Definitely a smart decision to focus on the offensive side of things when filling out your back end, as they also have a big part in the offensive lineup of your team. So definitely great to add some support there to your offensive game from the back end. Is now Xander is on the clock. 30. Oh, wait. Not the pick in yet, but with 30 seconds to go, Xander it has the pick in. Xander, who you got?
All right, so it's not often that you can find a player who can come in and replace Kevin De Bruyne and be just as good, but that's going to be the case on my team. I'm selecting another player from Borussia Dortmund and the German national team, center attacking mid Marco Reus. One of the best offensive players consistently. Honestly, if he wasn't so loyal, if he moved to maybe like a slightly bigger club than Borussia Dortmund, he would be widely considered like one of the best center mids in the world. But he doesn't quite get the recognition he deserves because he's just been playing in one team his whole career. Really loyal player, but he's just amazing offensively. He can pass, he can shoot, he can dribble, he can do it all. And he can come in and play winger too, so he's a versatile offensive player.
Definitely another great pick there, as Nishad has his pick in. Nishad, who do you got?
So to add some depth to my left winger position, I think that a player who could easily be compared with Eden Hazard, player from Manchester City who's also suffered injuries this year that have kept him off the roster, but a huge player in Manchester City's domestic treble last year, Leroy Sané from the German national team. His pace is absurd, his free kick taking ability is absurd, and his finishing is second to none. I think Sané will add a certain flair to my team that I need off the bench. He's definitely a spark plug that can get my players going. So I definitely think that's a huge pick right there with my next pick.
Sané, obviously, like you said, a spark plug. That's very important to have on a team like that to motivate the boys on the bench, get them up and going. Even though maybe he's not performing as much as those other guys on the statistics side of things, it's important to have that consistent energizer on the bench to kind of motivate the guys. Definitely a big piece of the team and definitely adding some depth on the offensive side of things.
And with my next pick that I've just sent to you, I'm going to go with a, in my opinion, heavily underrated central midfielder and player for Liverpool and the Dutch national team, Gini Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum is an excellent clutch player showing up for Liverpool when they need him most. He can shoot, he can pass, he's extremely physical, he's great with his head, he can really get in there in the box, and I think he'll play well along with Verge, Ta, and Andy Robertson in the back line. Wijnaldum is another extremely explosive player coming off the bench in Liverpool's immaculate comeback against Barcelona last year and netting 2 goals that really pushed them that final yard. In fact, I think, no, Divock Origi netted the final one, but 2 spectacular headers that were really crucial to that win. Wijnaldum was also a Ballon d'Or nominee last year, and I think he's going to also add fuel to my central midfield that is already stacked. And in addition to that, if he was to come in to replace Bernardo Silva, he would play along with his national teammate, Frankie de Jong, and that would be an excellent partnership.
Definitely important to have a clutch player on your team. Even you definitely need somebody to step up when the pressure is high and the tension is high. And obviously, he's a perfect selection for you. As Xander has his next pick in. Xander, who did you select?
All right, so I talked about this man in the 3rd round. I was expecting he would go a lot higher. He's going to be my 3rd really good offensive substitute from Liverpool and the Egyptian national team. I'm going to be taking Mohamed Salah. When I was comparing him to Sadio Mane, I was saying Mane had been the better player, had the better season the past 2 years. While this is true, Salah's still been outstanding, scored many goals, and let's not forget, he did have that one amazing season, broke the record for most goals scored in the Premier League, and in that season, he really looked like one of the 5 best players in the world. So that shows you, at his peak, he's on the same level as Messi and Ronaldo and those guys.
Definitely 26 goals in the Premier League, obviously showing that he can be an offensive threat for your team. As Chandler has both of his picks in. Chandler, who do you got?
All right. I'm going to be picking a center back from my bench, Chiellini from Juventus in Italy, and I'll be picking the perfect Swiss Army knife for any team, even though he's not Swiss. Roberto Firmino from Liverpool. Now let me explain these two. Firmino, this is a very eye test pick. Firmino can play center forward, he can play striker, he can play left or right, and he can do any of these. If you watch him in the games, he drops all the way back to it from his own 18-yard box all the way to the penalty spot to finish nice goals from beautiful crosses from a Luka Modric or even a nice ball from Lionel Messi here. And then the Chiellini pick, not just to complement De Ligt if I sub Sergio Ramos out or if he gets a yellow card, because that is very likely. Chiellini is a legend of the game. He's like Andrea Pirlo. He ages like a fine wine, keeps getting better, and I really couldn't risk either of them going anywhere else.
Definitely Firmino with 56 goals and 34 assists in the Premier League. So obviously an outstanding offensive player. As now we move to Xander's pick. Xander, who'd you select?
Yeah, so I'm also looking for a defensive sub, and I was looking through center backs. One of them stuck out to me, and that's going to be from PSG, Marquinhos. So he's a really good center back, a great on the ball. PSG has used him in the Champions League at center defensive mid on many occasions, which was another thing going into my mind. I now have 2 defenders, David Alaba and oh God, who am I just drafting? And Marquinhos, who can play center defensive mid, and that's a good option because then I can slide them in if my team needs more defense. He's really versatile player and one of the best passing center backs, so he's a good choice for me at this point.
And again, so important to have your. Oh wait, somebody else saying something?
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Obviously, very important to have offensive pieces on your back end to help contribute to the offensive side of things on the field. So now we move to Nishad, who has his first of his 2 picks in. Nishad, who'd you pick?
So I've gone with the Barcelona center half, Gerard Piqué. I'm surprised that he's gone this late. He is slightly underrated in my opinion. He's done it for Barcelona for so many years, having won numerous La Liga titles and collecting a couple Champions Leagues, I believe, as well. Piqué is although he's on the slower side of things, I think he would be excellent to come off the bench to either replace Verge or Varane, and I think he would be he plays for Spain as well, and I think he would really be good to give us that defensive support that we need. My next pick is also in a very young player, actually developed in the MLS and from our neighbors up north, Alphonso Davies. Alphonso Davies has been a standout this year, outstanding at the left back position, but that's not even his true position. He's more of a left mid, and I think that that's really important for my team, especially coming off the bench, because I can have a player who I could swap in for any of my fullbacks or even a left mid if I needed to. His pace, blistering pace. His passing ability is excellent, and he does have a knack for finishing as well. So I think that Alphonso Davies would be a great addition to my team moving forward.
And obviously, like you said, it's definitely important to have a versatile player who can come off the bench and play in multiple positions. Obviously, something that you want to add in a bench player. Just in case if things go awry, you can add him into certain spots where he may not have been expecting to play. So another great pick there by Nishad. As now we move to Xander, as he has 30 seconds left on the clock for his draft selection, and he has his pick in. Xander, let me know, who'd you select?
All right. So, again, I wasn't going to take this player. I don't need him. I already have a lot of players at this position, but he's too good to pass up on in this point. He probably speaks the worst English on my team. I'm taking striker from Tottenham and the English national team, Harry Kane. In a world with no injuries, Harry Kane is one of the most dominant, best number nines out there. He is so strong and powerful on the ball. Has an amazing shot. Come in late in the game. If Haaland's not doing so well, or with Haaland in a two-striker setting, score some goals. And again, he's been plagued with injuries, but when he's been healthy, he's been one of the best strikers in the Premier League.
Definitely another great pick there. Now we move to Chandler with his last two selections of the draft. Chandler, tell me, who'd you
And if
pick?
you take my picks, I'm going to kill you.
I don't think I'm going to take your picks because these are, again, a little bit more outside the box, but all part of the strategy here. So I'm going to make one pick and then I'm going to have to cleanse myself with the next one. The first one will be Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United. Let me explain this when I see Nishad's face.
Wow. Look at the jersey you're wearing right now.
I know. That's what. I'm gonna cleanse myself. Don't worry. We have, just to see, as much as it pains to say this, Manchester United finally have one competent player on their team after spending so much money. He is incredible at just unlocking a defense, and to bring him on as an alternate to Luka Modric, who is going to be a more stationary player, I think that gives me just another dimension to my team. And then here we go. Finally, my first and only homer pick. I will be okay. Let me preface this by saying that I have a bunch of winners on my team. I have Messi. I have Luka Modric. I have Sergio Ramos. I have Alisson. I have Marcelo. And now I have Jordan gosh darn Henderson, the captain. Fantastic. We love Jordan Henderson. He has been the longest tenured player in the Liverpool first team since 2011. He has overcome calls for his head after one season. And Brendan Rodman, everyone told him that he wasn't good enough to play for Liverpool and that he should move to Fulham of all teams. And he's enough to play for this team harder than anybody I have. Liverpool team. He leads by example. He scored a worldie against Nishad's Chelsea team a couple of years ago. He has lifted the Champions League. He's lifted the Club World Cup. He is incredible.
Nick, how much time do I have left on the clock?
Yeah, I'll stop talking so you can make your pick.
Yeah, Xander has 25 seconds.
Xander's pick.
Oh, it's Xander's pick. Okay, phew, I'm good.
And I'm flying without a safety net here, not picking a backup goalkeeper. I had one lined up, and then I couldn't pass on Jordan Henderson there.
Chandler, you still have one more pick. You should only have 17 players.
Do I?
because I only have 16.
Oh, maybe then I can pick a backup goalie.
I
Yeah,
have 16, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe not his last player to pick there, but Henderson.
there's 2 more rounds. Yeah, so
Yes, you're right.
with my second to last pick, I'll be taking. This is another bench player. I want to add to the winning mentality of the team, so I'll be taking a winner at every single level from youth age to the pros. Center back from Atlanta, Miles Robinson.
Yeah.
He's a great player to come off the bench. He can give Laporte and Koulibaly some tips on winning at the big stage. Freak athlete, representing Arlington, can't go wrong there.
Love it.
Definitely, as you said, a winner on all levels. Definitely a needed personal guy to have in the locker room there to show everybody else around. Nishad?
With my next pick, I've gone with another Barcelona star and a man who's been doing it for them in the central midfield for so long. Some people may say that he's not at his best, but man, his control is unbelievable. He's really shifty with the ball. He isn't the fastest player, but he'll make a tackle when you need it, and he will make a pass when you need it. He can dodge defenders like they're nothing, and he's won the treble with Barcelona before. With my next pick, I've gone with Sergio Busquets off the bench. Busquets is a great player. He can also play alongside his Barcelona teammate, Frankie de Jong, and that is why I have gone with him with that pick. With my next pick, I will be going with... With my next pick, I have gone with the Lazio star and current European Golden Boot front runner, Ciro Immobile. Ciro Immobile also does it for Italy's national team. An excellent player and finisher, having racked up, I think, 28 goals this season. He is an outstanding player. He may be in his later days, but he can still do it as he has shown this season. I think Immobile will be really potent off the bench, and it'll really round off my attacking front three. Although I have taken a risk by not adding as much reinforcement to my back line, I have excellent faith in my 3 Liverpool players who I haven't stated, and those guys are engines. I don't think they are going to need very much help. So there you go.
Definitely another great pick there. Now we move to Xander with, I believe it's your last pick, right, Xander?
Yeah.
Let us know who you got.
Yeah. So with my last pick, like Chandler, I was considering going with a backup goalkeeper, but then I realized that by taking this man along with Harry Kane, they kind of combined to form a backup goalkeeper, and that's amidst the scandal, Kyle Walker. He's one of the great players I was talking about earlier when I picked Joao Cancelo. He's been one of the best right backs in the Premier League for the past 5 years or so. Great on Man City. He can slide into center back or even center mid. He's scored some bangers. He can do it all. Again, he has played some goalie, so has Harry Kane. So if anything happens to Jan Oblak, those two will be my guys to step in. And I just couldn't pass up on him at this point. He's from my team, Man City, and has just been one of the best players and the best defenders in the league, and very versatile, adding to that the many versatile players I already have.
Definitely, like you said, a versatile player is a great one to have, especially on a soccer team where you're able to move them around into many different spots on the field, possibly run some different formations, etc. And obviously having a versatile player like Kyle Walker is a great person to have move around and do that. So now we move to our last pick in the draft. Chandler with 25 seconds left on the clock with his draft pick. The last official pick in the ACMi Sports professional soccer draft. And the pick is in. Chandler, with the last pick, who do you got?
All right. So as much of me wants to pick myself, I'm not going to do it. So much of me wants to pick myself, but I'm not going to do it.
Take Joe.
I'm going to be the only supporting strategy by my other GM. I'm picking a team with two. I will be picking another Brazilian goalie. I'll be picking Ederson to be between the sticks for me, who I personally had ranked as my third best goalie over Marc-Andre ter Stegen, because just how excellent he is with his feet. He's a great shot stopper, and a lot like Allison, as we saw with his going down in a game against Norwich, as we saw when Ederson didn't play. Man City were a significantly worse team. He really, I don't have to worry about if Allison were to go off. I don't have to worry about a significant drop off at goalie. I'm very happy with that. He has an average save percentage of 68.8%, and especially just how excellent he is with his feet. If I really needed him to go up, I could do it. I'd be comfortable having him dribble, do a very FIFA-style play, and just dribble all the way up. I think he could do it. He's also contributed many assists to Man City, and that just gives me a whole other dimension to my team.
Definitely adding some depth at the goaltender position there with our final pick in the draft. Obviously, a huge thank you to all of you guys for participating in this and drafting in this. And make sure to our viewers, stay tuned to the ACMi Sports page on YouTube, as we'll be airing more drafts to come with football, hockey, baseball should probably already be up by now, this soccer one, and basketball. So stay tuned for more fantasy drafts from students from around Arlington. And obviously, another huge thanks to all of you guys for participating. And make sure, stay tuned to ACMi Sports on Instagram, where we'll be posting polls for who you think has drafted the best team here today. So obviously, follow ACMi Sports on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube for more content coming your way. So obviously, another huge thank you to you guys for showing up. I hope you guys enjoyed. And from ACMi Sports, I'm Nick Antonakis, and we'll see you next time.